Girl Gone has now been streamed almost 25 million times.
Because I feel like the reason I write songs that are like Little Girl Gone.
Fingers. I would love to have a look at it with you. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely, let's do it.
Probably saw me let go. Panicked and you said hello. Swallowing the words you say. You know I'm not okay. Bled me till I ran cold. Now you're coming back for more. You know me, you know I'll cave. But scars will never fade. So meet me to a clock the same as always. Favorite spot and one bang.
Oh, so the choices you make with the diction, I love them so much. I get like addicted to hearing you pronounce these T's so precisely. It's so delicious.
I feel like so much of this is going to be me being like, huh? Do I? The diction kind of, it makes me feel it more. Each syllable, I think it is like a creepy bit, and I feel like it's almost like ASMR. And it's not like a choice, but I think probably that's subconsciously where I go. Like it feels close and it feels creepy.
When I sort of analyze things and I like hear all the different sounds people are making, I know that that is probably like not the conscious choice, but just that organic emotion that you had of I want to make this close and I want to draw people in. That's the consequence. You know, when you went down there,
So meet me.
you're not dropping your voice too low, but I know that's something that you can do. So is that another sort of thing that you think, hold the tension up, make sure it stays bright to give it somewhere to go?
In that first bit, I want to keep it contained so that it has the space to develop.
There's already been quite a few new sections and like surprise chords. I'm like, oh, there's already a few harmonic moments that are, I was going to say the word penetrative, but that's gross, but I've just said it. Oh, and your outfit is just blowing my mind.
So I worked with a stylist on this. The outfit is the first time I worked with him, and I instantly was like, we're going to be good friends. And then I worked with him a few more times after this. He actually ended up styling the music video for this song. It was like 4 days after this or something. And I was like, listen, I'm in a pickle. With 6 insane outfits in 4 days' time. 6 like Cluedo characters, like caricatures of these people. I was working with someone else on it at the time and it wasn't quite right. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, it's not right. He just jumped on it and was like, and mate, I just love him. He's amazing. This is Alvaro Mars. And then the hat, I made the hat.
No way.
Yeah, it's a towel. Most of my outfits and things are made out of me having like zero budget. So I'm like, right, what's the cheapest thing I can find? An old towel. Like, let's just make it into a hat.
Oh, oh look.
Yeah, but
It's got a ribbon now.
Yeah, it's got a ribbon now. This video was for Hunger magazine. It was like a collaboration we did, and they sent it to me as an idea already, and I was like, I love it. Also, this was part of my EP, Moon Maintenance for Dummies. So the moon, I was like, guys, you're literally in my brain right now.
How did you come up with that name, by the way, for the EP, Moon Maintenance for Dummies?
So it's a lyric in one of the song's terms and conditions. It's about like being really high maintenance. I wrote it with someone called Pepina, and we have a really similar sense of humor. So I feel like every lyric, we just spend like the whole sessions laughing. That song was like one of the funnest songs I've written because it starts by being like, I'm going to need you to bring me the moon and the stars. But have you even thought about how heavy they all are? Don't make promises and under deliver. It's like being like, I need you to do all of these things if you want to be with me. And then it goes, think about the moon. It's fucking huge. How am I going to store it? Have you thought about like a storage facility for me? And how am I going to store something that big? Like, it's going to be really inconvenient for me. And how am I going to maintain it? Like, it's going to be really hard to look after. In the session, we were talking about like, what is David Attenborough going to say when I steal the moon and have it in like my storage facility? Anyway, we were just lolling, writing it. So then we were like, we should have a line about like the book that you would need to look after the moon, and it was Moon Maintenance for Dummies. I love that lyric, and then the EP ended up being called Moon Maintenance for Dummies.
But scars will never fade, so meet me to the same as always. Favorite spot. And one by one, I'll cut your fingers clean off, so you can never pull me down. One by one, I'll box them up, scream murder. No, you can never hurt no one. So tell me where you're gone, and tell me is the fun gone? Whoa, maybe I should shed a tear, 'cause this was me last year. So mean me late at night where no one hears us. I won't bite.
I love like how you constantly weave like the legato with the staccato. After your long notes, you still perform the little staccato notes in with that as well. So there's this constant push and pull vocally. That combined with how present you are in that moment, it's so captivating.
I feel like this song is just, it almost like possesses me a little bit. I feel like it's creepy and it's eerie, but it's also like strong. It's strange. It's almost like a horror song a little bit. And I think that's kind of where the staccato like bits come from. It's like, I want it to be like disjointed.
Because your expression is so organic all the time. Your intentions are just so clear with what you want someone to feel, and they're so raw. So I'm feeling it all. I feel everything.
And one by one, I'll cut your fingers clean off, so you can never pull me down. One by one, I'll box them up, scream murder, so you can never hurt no one.
Did you ever do a lot of practice for your breathing technique, or is it just naturally fabulous?
I did a fucking lot of practice. So I have a vocal coach, and he actually tortures you. He has this breathing thing he does. He puts a timer on the screen, and you have to take the hugest breath you can. It's all in a good way, by the way. I have nothing but respect for him. He's amazing. Yeah, he lets this timer go down. You take this huge breath and you just breathe out. You go like this for 2 minutes. And if you do less than 2 minutes, you have to go again. And people have like collapsed in his sessions. And I could never do it. And I was like, I literally must be the worst breather, but maybe it's helped. A tutor at uni, she made me like push against a wall when I was belting. And then it's like all the pressure and strain goes into the energy of pushing against the wall. So your note just comes out quite clear. And then I think it's easier to channel that when you're then singing.
That's a fabulous exercise, like the pushing in the wall one, because what it does is it turns on your lats, and your lats are where your rib cage is. So if they're engaged, your rib cage is engaged and you can use breath better. And when you focus the attention on controlling the breath from the back, you ease up power from the front. And the front is where the magic happens. The front is where we go to strain. And so by turning on the back, you've still got all of the support and all of the freeness at the front.
So interesting. It's such a science.
Yeah, I love a bit of anatomy. Yeah, the breathing technique. I love that your coach did that with you, because he would know doing a sustained for 2 minutes is borderline impossible, right? Giving you that as the exercise meant that you're pushing yourself and you're testing what your body is capable of, because we always have loads of reserve for air. I like to prove this to people and just ask them to imagine I had a gun to your head and I told you to breathe out. There's loads in there. By pushing yourself like that, I mean, hopefully before the point of collapse, but besides the point, you really going to see how much strength and how much reserves you have, because I'm noticing that most people, if they haven't done breathing work, in these sort of moments where you're doing very breathy staccato notes, a lot of people would have cracks in their voice for that, because if you aren't very good at breathing deeply, you build up what we call subglottal pressure behind your vocal folds, and the breath just comes out all at once. But your muscles down here are really strong, so you're able to sort of trickle out the perfect amount of breath even when the note is very challenging. Closing your vocal folds at the perfect amount of times per second, really fast, and breath, like that's an insane amount of control that you have.
Sick. You hear someone analysing, you're like, yeah, no, that's so cool.
I'll box them up, scream murder,
Oh, one other question that I forgot to ask. The little growls that you do, did you train those with your coach or do they fall out?
My two favorite singers in the world are Christina Aguilera and Beyonce. I actually don't know when they started happening. I think I listened to them so much that it was like it became a part of my voice. I just did not want to do any singing if there wasn't growls in there. I love when stuff isn't like polished, and I love when it's like earthy. I hate the idea of being like a polished woman who everything, like every piece of hair is in place and like everything perfect.
Would you say the agility comes from that same thing as well, practicing that when you're a kid? Because obviously Beyonce and Christina are very agile.
I feel like I've told this story before and people are gonna be like, yeah, we've heard this one. But I went on holiday. Burlesque had just come out as a film and the soundtrack had just come out. I loved Burlesque, like one of my favorite films of all time. Went on this holiday for a week, was just listening to the Burlesque soundtrack the whole time and singing it the whole time. And when I got back, it was like my balls had dropped. And I had a singing lesson after that holiday. And I remember because I felt like I'd really come on, but I was like, no, I must be a bit like delusional, like maybe I'm just in my head. But he like stopped playing piano and he was like, your voice is you've really matured. And I was like, I thought that. Like, it's weird, right?
Were you a teenager? Like, at
Yeah.
that time? Yeah. So our voices do drop. I mean, our balls don't drop. Well, mine haven't dropped yet anyway. I don't know. Maybe they will. But your vocal folds will grow and your vocal tract will grow as well. It just happens usually at a more steady rate for women. It could be a combination of you're deeply inspired by the dulcet tones of Cher, etc. And your voice did grow and you're relaxed, because after we've had like a week of relaxation or any kind of relaxation, we don't have to use our voice a lot. We don't have a lot of stress in the body. Our larynx would probably sit a little bit lower. The same way when you wake up in the morning after you've been relaxed for a while, your voice is lower.
Wow, that's actually, I love that. So I'm not crazy.
No.
So you can never hurt no one. Have no fury like a man's
No way. Oh.
I
There she is.
always, in all the reaction videos, I always wait for people to get to that bit because people are always like,
Yeah, that's insane. What the... So the way that you belt, do you actively retract your tongue?
no.
Your tongue, it's very flat. I can see
Well,
a little soft palate.
When they first sent me this edit, I was like, guys, this shot. You can literally see my tonsils. They showed me another one and I was like, oh, it's worse. I'm glad that it helps analyze.
You see this, right? This is so this is your hard palate and this is your soft palate there. It's down. You know the way in opera singers when they sing high notes, you can see that dangly thing at the back of their throat, the uvula? Yeah. The little trapdoor we have at the back, the soft palate, in them, it stays up. So you get like this kind of sound quality, but the way that you belt, you bring your soft palate down for that kind of quality, like a more forward placement of the sound rather than a backward placement.
I keep being like, that's so interesting, but I feel like that's how I learned to belt really high, is through the same singing teacher. Well, I've talked about two now, but the breathing technique, the breathing teacher, yeah. He teaches you on I. So my band and pretty much everyone who's ever recorded with me takes this at me because I do this vocal warm that's like I, and it's horrible. It's actually horrible to be in the same room as, but best for belting. If I'm having trouble hitting a note or something, if I sing it on like nya or I feel like that's what you're talking about, that nasal tone.
Yeah, so it's another thing as well that you do called twang, which is the little thing that comes, it's like a little flap. It looks like a tongue kind of, and it comes over your vocal folds and it shrinks the space. So when you do the epiglottis comes down, and so from we get that, and in that small sound we can resonate it more, which means that we can belt without shouting. The nyas and the ay, they are so good because your tongue is lifted when you do aya, nya, and that motion of the tongue, the way that it lifts at the back and then comes down, nya, means that it's not tense. That's exactly what you're doing there. Your tongue is coming down perfectly after being lifted. You're so technical as a singer. It's just amazing.
It's all on purpose. Do you know what? I sometimes get a lot of hate on like TikTok with people being like, you're just screaming. Now I'm like, well, actually, technically, I'm not shouting.
The fact that you place it in this twangy position, that is the very definition of not shouting. Like shouting is when you just like you just open your mouth and push, but this is very controlled. And what do you think? You can just sort of shout with absolutely perfect pitches and vibrato. Like what planet are these people on? Oh.
So you can never pull me down. When I box them up, scream murder. So you can never hurt no one. And if I were you, I wouldn't wanna fall asleep. 'Cause karma's coming back for you. And she's in the shape of and I'm gonna win by one eye. So keep them close to you. Put your keys in your knuckles like I have to.
That is really, really, really phenomenal. The variety of sounds that you can use and switch between them so much. The range, the breath control, how captivating you are. There's so many things that you do, technically, because it all comes from that same place of honesty and rawness. It's just one thing at the same time. It's just you. Your passion for singing and your passion for sharing your art is obviously so important that you take in little things that you've got from your vocal coach and stuff and you're like integrate it with yourself and you produce something authentic. I'm in awe.
Thank you. Thank God it's something that is like authentic and I'm not thinking about it the whole time because I feel like that would be exhausting to be like, oh fuck, now is this bit, now is it, now is this bit.
You go between so many different areas of your voice, like the mode 2, like the thin voice, and then the strong voice. There's so many different onsets. You bring notes in with fry. You couldn't possibly plan each one of those. All of these technical things you've learned have just gone in and been reused and shaped into the Chinchilla machine.
Thank you. I'm really glad you liked it. That would have been awkward, wouldn't it? Like, no, this is the first one that I actually hate.
If you've got another one.
Not another one because we can't put this out. We actually filmed another one before this that she hated. What else do we have? What do we have yet?
Can I just finish off by reading our oracle card? Because at the end of all my videos, I read out an oracle card. Is that okay?
Oh my God, yeah.
Right. Look at the one that... Okay. They're all random.
Am I going to die?
It's this one. I am so incredible, rainbowst. And it says, hey, beautiful, let me tell you, you got it. You are fucking amazing. Celebrate every part of yourself. You are a gift.
It's what we were just saying. That's so lovely. I had a phase last year where I would wake up in the morning and put on an imaginary frown before I stood up because I was like, no one can see me. I might as well put on a crown.
Yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow. Good luck for your shows coming up. Good luck for all your new releases. I will be here cheering you on so loud you probably hear me.
Do it with your twang on.
I will get my twang on and think of you.
Oh, twang on and cheer me on. So it doesn't hurt your larynx.
That's great advice. Okay, I'll see you soon, I hope.
Yeah, it was so nice to chat to you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you have enjoyed this. Please do let me know your favorite undiscovered artists down below in the comments so that we can reach out to them and have these kinds of conversations. Have a wonderful day. I love you very much and I cannot wait to see you again in the next video. Mwah!